another edition of the Instant Wrestling Report. I'm your host, J-Man. This edition of the IWR into our 2012 WWE Royal Rumble review. Obviously, doing this video solo today. Had some problems with the other guy's schedules, not able to make this video. We're going to go ahead and run down the review for you. Obviously, us attending the Royal Rumble this past Sunday in our hometown of St. Louis, Missouri at Scottrade Center. You know, as predicted, it was an outstanding time. It was, you know, super unpredictable, super exciting, and everything that I was hoping it to be, which was, you know, having it be those things. You know, just I've wanted to go to one since I was a kid. I've seen it on TV, and I've seen every single one. Just, you know, watching that, I've wanted to be at that you know, atmosphere and be in there. You know, I've been to a WrestleMania. I've been to those, you know, super crazy atmospheres like Money in the Bank this past year. But I wanted to go to a Royal Rumble so bad and just feel and just be a part of that. You know, the unpredictability of it and the excitement of it, and we were right in the middle of it, and it was an absolute blast. Hope to maybe attend another one in the future. I would absolutely be all over it. So, very fun time at the Royal Rumble. We're going to go ahead and run down the card for you. First matchup, we had the Triple Threat Steel Cage match for the World Heavyweight Championship, featuring champion Daniel Bryan going up against The Big Show and Mark Henry. Obviously, going into this in the preview, we said how it was going to be very interesting to see how they would pull this off and, you know, have these three very different, well, I guess two kind of the same and a very different person in Daniel Bryan in there together in a steel cage match. Really nothing too special here, unfortunately. It was so hard for, you know, them to pull this off with the injuries that both Big Show and Mark Henry are suffering, and just putting them in this steel cage environment and everything that's been going on in this feud, and finally culminating in this steel cage match. Interesting way to end it with Daniel Bryan basically dangling from Big Show's, you know, arm and having him finally drop and retain the title via escaping the cage, which we said in the preview we thought that it was going to go down the way. You weren't going to see him, you know, submit one of them or pin one of them. You'd see him end up escaping the cage and get the victory here. Obviously, anything that I get out of this is the fact that Daniel Bryan is continuing his great run as world champion, now heel run as world champion. They're not making him this stupid heel that he can't play, or this just crazy outlandish thing. They're just having him play basically this great character of having him feel as though he's an absolute badass and kind of get these kind of cheapy kind of, you know, just heelish typical kind of wins. But it's so great how he's pulling it off, and Daniel Bryan is showing that he can play that character and be a character and not just be this amazing wrestler, but he could play that gimmick up, and he's doing it to a T right now. And obviously, Big Show and Mark Henry's injuries, we'll see. Interesting to see how that goes down. Obviously, Mark Henry looks like he's going to be taking some time off, and it'll be interesting to see if Big Show continues you know, his kind of role that he's been doing as a main event type player. But we're going to see how that goes up. Daniel Bryan retaining the championship in the steel cage match. As I said, nothing really too special there, but a fun way to kick off the card. Next matchup, we had the 8 Divas Tag Match, impromptu tag match, featuring Divas champion Beth Phoenix, Natalya, and the Bella Twins going up against Kelly Eve, Tamina, and Alicia Fox. Just your kind of typical Divas tag match that you get on a pay-per-view card, as we've seen in the past. Interesting to see the heels get the win here. In Beth Phoenix, you know, hitting the glam slam on, I believe, Kelly, and getting the win there. Interesting to see that because Beth Phoenix, the Divas champion, has seemingly to just disappear and hasn't really been on TV that much the last couple weeks. And as you know, I'll get to in Royal Rumble, interesting return there. It'd be interesting to see if they possibly, you know, do something down the road, which I would absolutely love to see, but I'll get to that a little bit later. But as I said, the heels getting the win here. Kelly doing a cool little spot off the top, the dive on everybody else, but really nothing too special here. Just a typical kind of Divas tag match that you get on a pay-per-view. And as I said, the heels of Beth Phoenix, Natalya, and the Bella Twins getting the win there. Next matchup, we had the one-on-one match between Kane and John Cena. This one kind of had a lot of ties with the Zack Ryder thing and the Eve thing, and doing this thing where Kane kind of chased Zack Ryder into this crappily made little room in the backstage area at Scottrade Center, and just keep playing off that, and Zack Ryder wearing the brace and this kind of crap, and it's just like, whatever. I just want to keep continuing to see Kane as this great character that I'm just loving the kind of renewal of Kane right now. It's great to see. I think he looks like an absolute monster, especially at this entrance, which was just absolutely badass to see live. But this match, you know, nothing really special here. Getting in there for the first time with both of them. It kind of just ended up turning into a brawl, ended up in a double count out. And obviously it's going to be continuing. Probably see another one-on-one match at Elimination Chamber, possibly a gimmick on it, last man standing, street fight. Who knows? Obviously with them not being in the Elimination Chamber for the title, you'll be seeing a some sort of gimmick match on this match, or this coming up match with Kane and John Cena probably again. But nothing too special here. Seeing Kane just demolish everyone, you know, take out John Cena, then take out Zack Ryder and Eve with their crappy acting and crying all over the place, which we were just making fun of, and acting like we were having a soap opera scene up in the stands because we were just ripping on Eve's terrible acting. But pretty fun to see that. But as I said, ending a double count, it'll be interesting to see where this goes on, and continuing that, you know, kind of, are we going to flirt with John Cena possibly turning heel, and kind of the mixed reaction that we get, which is another thing I wanted to say. The crowd in this at St. Louis was absolutely outstanding. It wasn't the typical kind of crowd that we normally see in St. Louis, obviously being to a crap load of shows in St. Louis. You kind of usually get a big facious kind of crowd there, not really cheering for a lot of the heels. But you can obviously tell there's a lot of people that came out, or not from St. Louis, to St. Louis to see the Royal Rumble, but very hot crowd throughout the night, especially during this matchup. Next matchup, we had another Brodus Clay squash match, this one featuring one of my favorite guys in Drew McIntyre. Just the squash marathon continues now. With Drew McIntyre, and this interesting thing they've been doing, Drew McIntyre having him lose everything, possibly going to get fired on SmackDown. As long as this ends up with Drew McIntyre hopefully getting on a run somehow, because it's a shame that a talent Drew McIntyre can't get utilized it just anywhere. It just pisses me off. But Brodus Clay continuing his squashing, as I said, with Drew McIntyre here, lasted like 20 seconds, and basically everything we've seen on a weekly show. If they don't start doing anything different, I really haven't been a fan of this gimmick since it started. It was funny when I first saw it, and I just kind of laughed my ass off to, you know, thinking what the hell are they doing? But I really don't see this going anywhere, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of Brodus Clay fans out there, but I'm not a fan of it. It's just typical cheesiness for me. It's just the same kind of crap, but they need to start doing something different, because it's going to get really stale really soon, unfortunately. But Brodus Clay getting the squash win in that one. Next matchup, we had the WWE title line with special referee John Laurinaitis, featuring his champion CM Punk going up against Dolph Ziggler. This was a pretty solid matchup. Wasn't to the point that I thought it could have been. It seems like every time Dolph Ziggler and CM Punk go out there, they could have a 4-star match, just not even trying, it seems. But kind of, this one really had the feel that it was really building to, it almost felt like a match building to just this past Raw, featuring, you know, all the stuff going on with John Laurinaitis. It really kind of just had that feel that Dolph Ziggler was just thrown in there just to continue the kind of thing with CM Punk and John Laurinaitis, and onto the Monday Night Raw, which we saw, all that craziness that ensued there. But as I said, pretty solid match between these guys. These guys can go out there and have great matches with anybody, and that's a great thing to say about any wrestler. They can go out there and just, you know, have, you know, a solid match with any person they're out there with, especially when you put two of them together. It's usually what you get. But CM Punk hitting the GTS on Dolph Ziggler, and John Laurinaitis coming in and doing the count with the ref, and counting the 1, 2, 3, and CM Punk retaining the WWE Championship. Obviously moving on to Elimination Chamber now, for Elimination Chamber match. Be interesting to see all that. Interesting cast of characters in there. Should be an interesting match to see there. But CM Punk remaining the WWE Championship, or reigning WWE Champion, in a pretty solid matchup there. Next, we had the 30-man Royal Rumble match. Everyone was looking forward to. That's what you look forward to when it comes to the Royal Rumble. And I was super excited for this. It was very entertaining. They had a lot of interesting little parts in here during the match. It seems the last, like, I don't know, 5 or so years, they really do these kind of interesting little tidbits in the middle of a Royal Rumble, kind of like little subplots that they do during the Rumble, outside of the, you know, the traditional stuff that we really didn't see in the first, like, you know, 10 to 15 Royal Rumbles. You kind of get these interesting little tidbits, having the, you know, all the legends return, like the Road Dogs and the Jim Duggins, and then McFoley's also, and then kind of get those interesting little subplots with the McFoley and a Santino doing the Cobra and the Sacco thing. That was, you know, hilarious to see that little standoff that they did. That was brilliantly done by them. Really, the three things that I get out of it, well, there's more than 3 things I get out of it, but the 3 really solid performers for me in this Royal Rumble was Dolph Ziggler coming in after his WWE title match, being in there for, I don't even know how long, like 30 minutes or something like that. The Miz coming in first, lasting 45 minutes, I think, till the like top 4 or the last 4 or something like that. And Cody Rhodes, just solid as all get out. And really, when you look at that, Miz, Cody Rhodes, and Dolph Ziggler, you look at 3 of the absolute, you know, best, you know, up-and-coming young talent in WWE right now, and that's great to have, you know, Rumble stars, you know, in there performing great, to be some of the youngest stars you have, and that's outstanding to see. And that's what you get with those kind of guys. Other things they had in here: Ricardo Rodriguez coming out. dressed as Alberto Del Rio. We were all freaking out thinking it was going to be Del Rio coming out. Then he comes out in this crappy car with duct tape on it and coming out and just acting exactly like Alberto Del Rio. Absolutely hilarious. They had, let's see, Karma return. That was crazy to see that. I was not expecting that at all, which is interesting to see if they end up doing something with Beth Phoenix and Karma in the long run, which could possibly go down. I know everybody's been wanting to see this forever. The two, you know, just huge, you know, divas here. I don't call them divas; they're women's wrestlers. But that'd be outstanding to see that. Possibly a WrestleMania match. Never know with that one. We also had all the announcers come in with Cole King and Booker. That was interesting, kind of playing that off. Anybody could come out, kind of thing. We had Randy Orton come out and really not do too much. Came out with a big flurry. You know, hit an RKO here and there, and then he was gone. Kind of interesting to see that in his hometown. And then we had the ending, Chris Jericho coming out 29, and we were waiting to see, you know, could this possibly be, you know, a huge return at 30, and it ends up just being the Big Show. And it was kind of a downer, disappointing, because we're so used to seeing these amazing returns, and I think we're almost spoiled to where we see these outstanding returns, you know, it seems year after year, and then when we don't get one, we're kind of like pissed off that we don't get something, you know, crazy and outlandish of a, you know, huge return or something like that, and it just kind of, which I was the same way, I was disappointed, but I kind of look back and I'm like, man, we were really spoiled with some of these Royal Rumbles where we just had these crazy returns. But having it be the Big Show, it ended up coming down to basically Chris Jericho and Sheamus for a good like 7 to 10 minutes. Shades from like back in 2007 with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, where they basically had a glorified match in the middle of the Royal Rumble. Interesting to see there. Chris Jericho doing just some of the best scare spots of eliminations that we've seen since Shawn Michaels in like 1995 and 1996. Just some amazing stuff to where it looked like on 3 or 4 occasions Chris Jericho could be eliminated. Just dangling there, it seems like, just about to get eliminated at like numerous occasions, but holding on, and in the end, Chris Jericho getting bro kicked from Sheamus, and Sheamus, your 2012 WWE Royal Rumble winner. I was not happy about this, obviously. I understand the unpredictability of it. I understand that they wanted to make it to where it didn't look obvious that Chris Jericho was going to win. But here's what I got to say. When you're going to flip it like that, you need to have it to where at least one makes sense with the guy who wins it. Sheamus, I know, is a huge star and all this and that. But to me, when you had Chris Jericho come in, it's not like you didn't have a guy win like a guy who's been there for, you know, years and years. The guy just returned off an amazing set of promos in this return, and interesting stuff going on, saying the world's gonna end as you know it come Sunday at the Royal Rumble, and then you just have him lose. It didn't make much sense. The momentum kind of dropped off. I don't think it's fully dropped off because I'm fully anticipating that they're going to be doing CM Punk and Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. That's why I wanted to see him win so badly, but I knew in the long run that we would get there. But to me, the unpredictability of having somebody different win, which I read that they wanted to do something different instead of Chris Jericho. Everybody thought Chris Jericho was going to win, so they wanted to flip it on us. The unpredictability of having a Sheamus win, to me, does not, you know, supersede having somebody like Chris Jericho who, with the circumstance, with the situation, the guy who it is, not being a Royal Rumble winner, and he's won every damn thing you could possibly think of, not winning a Royal Rumble. This could have made so much sense. Having him win the Rumble, go into, you know, WrestleMania, face a CM Punk or something like that. Really, it did. It made a lot of sense, and having him come here and win it would have been so great, but not getting to see that. But overall, an amazing experience. I'd absolutely, like I said, would absolutely love to do it again and attend another WrestleMania or another Royal Rumble, because it was an absolutely fun experience and something I will not forget. This one, I'll wrap up our 2012 WWE Royal Rumble review. I'm your host, J-Man. Thank you for watching another edition of the Instant Wrestling Report, your source for fresh wrestling news, information, opinions, and so. This is a battleground!